Why are you wearing all black today, Joe?
It just seemed like an all black kind of day. Also, I gotta do laundry.
Oh, the real answer is that one.
Welcome back to Can You Not? We have Amber, of course, as per usual. But Brian is either not here or split into two white people.
That would be weird.
That would be strange.
I don't think that's what Brian did.
Yeah, I think it's the first option. Can you two introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Matt.
And together we are Megan and Matt.
Not Brian. I was really hoping one of you was just going to say, we're two white people. Oh, I bet.
But on the night of a full moon.
Yes, and because the theme of the episode, as chosen by me, is marriage, we brought on two actual married people.
Whoa.
And you'll never guess who they're married to. Each other. Remarkable.
Actually, it's me. They're both married to me.
Do you want to tell the audience anything more about yourselves? What you do, what you love?
We love our cat.
We don't like things as individuals anymore. That's what happens when you're married. You both like the same things and dislike the same things.
And how long have you been married?
Since July.
Oh my gosh.
You were there, Joe.
Yeah. I think I met your video person because the quality of the video on that was just so amazing.
It was. It was a great video.
It was superb.
Of course,
Cherish it till the end of
Oh
our
wait,
days.
I did your video.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
no wonder.
That's
okay.
why you were there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We had vegan catering, which was amazing.
Yes.
Who caters?
Cleveland Vegan.
Yes.
Yes.
They're awesome.
It
They
was
are
a
the
good
best.
time.
As per usual, I had no idea what to do with this topic because Joe's topics are always like really hard for me for some reason. But what I ended up finding was this article called 3 Reasons You Should Never Marry for Love. And I was like, what is this?
Oh.
So I looked into it, and it's like the opposite of fairy tales, where instead of like saying you shouldn't marry for love, or instead of saying like, you know, everybody wants you to marry for like, you know, land and status and property, you should marry for love because that's what fairy tales say. And this is saying the opposite. It's saying that a literal quote from this is that love and romance are sketchy and like wear out really fast. So that's a really bad reason. So you should probably pick like other reasons to do it instead. And gosh, I don't even know. They're talking about like I mean, to be fair, the article discusses things like mutual respect, shared goals, financial compatibility, and that kind of stuff, which is also important. But so I guess what I want to talk about overall is like the reasons why people get married. I feel are pretty
Broad.
varied. And another branch of this, because I just like talking about stuff, is that you know, I've heard stories, and what I was actually trying to find was stories of people who got married for financial reasons, where it's like insurance or like, you know, the actual laws pertaining to married people versus non-married people. So they don't actually love the person that they married, but they want the documentation and what comes with that. And I've also, on the other side of that, read stories today about people who actually got divorced for the same reason, where it was like an insurance thing where together they weren't making enough money to cover their medical bills, but if they divorced, then the insurance changed around and they could suddenly afford like their medical bills. So I guess I just wanted to talk about reasons why people get married.
Why did you two get married?
Finances.
Money.
Yeah, what you say makes a lot of sense because, like, I've read stories about, like, arranged marriages, and of course some of these, you know, do end badly, but sometimes they end very well, and I've read stories of couples who have gotten married, you know, arranged by their families, and they end up very happy because they go into it with the expectation that this is what's best for both their families, and they're optimistic about it because of that, and they end up, you know, falling in love after they get married and, you know, being pretty happy for the rest of their lives. So I think if you marry for reasons other than love, it can work out if you, I started that thought before I finished it. Yeah,
If you have
I'll come back to that.
low standards or not high expectations.
Maybe if you go into it with the approach of working with it and like making it work.
Like
Right.
the mutual respect thing that
Yeah.
was mentioned
No,
before.
that's what I was going for.
I could see the point that the article was trying to make, sort of.
The
It
article-
doesn't have to be like passionately all-consuming, fiery love, but definitely like the kind of love where you see yourself like, yeah.
I mean, I feel like this article is saying, well, don't marry for love, but then it kind of describes everything that love is, which is
Yeah.
like mutual respect and I'm
shared
not.
passions
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah,
Right,
and
right,
like, of course, like you shouldn't marry somebody that you love, but you like don't respect and don't have anything in common with, and because then you're just describing like I don't even know, like a summer fling. What is that? But even then, some people have gotten married after like a very short amount of time and it's been successful. So it's all subjective.
Yeah, I wonder, because the article sounds a little bit to me like it's just being contrarian to be contrarian. A little bit like, what if I did an article about marrying not for love? A little bit.
Yeah.
But I can.
Well,
I mean,
Kind of like clickbait.
Yeah, it's happening in post. Who even knows? But one of the things that didn't seem contrarian, like just giving middle fingers to people all over the place, as these articles tend to do, is like it's technically supposed to be 3 reasons. So they eventually get to like 3 reasons, and one of the reasons is that love is a changeable emotion, and I think I think that's a really really valid point. Like that love and passion both change as people do. And I mean, I don't know if that means that you shouldn't get married because you love somebody, but I do think that that's something that a lot of people don't pay attention to necessarily. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of these 2 sides of a coin where either, okay, so you've been with this person and you want to marry them, and you're marrying them being aware that you can both change, and you decide that you're going to work through that.
Yeah.
Or the other side of that, too, is being aware, okay, well, I know I'm going to change, so do I actually want to commit to this person? So it's like, how worth it does it seem to work through these problems that you don't know about that are probably going to happen in the future as both people change.
Yeah,
That
and I
kind
think
of stuff.
maybe just a certain level, like you said, not only accepting that, but like expecting it, in a way. Like people are going to change over like a 40-year time span if 2 people are together that long, right? Like, I mean, especially like maybe being open to the idea that maybe someday in 20 years you won't love each other in that same way. Maybe divorce is an option. Like I don't know. That seems like a really hard thing to agree to at the beginning of a marriage. But I could see how that's something I would at least have in mind. I think if I were ever to get married.
I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was trying to say before, in that you have to go. I feel like to be successful, no matter what your initial motivation is, you have to go into it with the thought in mind that you plan on working it out no matter what.
Right.
Like if you go into it kind of wishy-washy, like, well, I guess this could work out maybe, then, you're probably not going to have a successful marriage. But like people who marry for reasons other than what we think is love, I think they go into it with a more optimistic attitude, maybe. Like, this is it. This is marriage. Like, this is the rest of my life. It's going to be good. And, yeah.
And maybe not, I feel like I just cut somebody off, but maybe, I mean, as far as arranged marriages go, as long as both parties are consenting and
course.
willing, obviously, yeah. I feel like a thought I just had is that if you're not worrying about it, and it's just kind of like, you almost approach it like, okay, well, this is my new job. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
This is this new part of my life, and it's not, I feel like that could potentially take a lot of weight off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, working with something that you're given instead of, like, fighting through trying to find something, like, being given this thing, given quotation marks, versus, having to find, the perfect person. I feel those are such different approaches to...
I think there's a lot of pressure on people sometimes to, like, have this, like, all-consuming like fire for the next like 75 years of your
It's
life.
never gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, especially given that we have so many more options now to find people, so it feels like
Tinder.
yeah,
Hey.
you can use the internet and find like what you might think be the perfect person, but that's still never going to be the perfect person. There is no perfect person, at least in my opinion. And I think being willing to accept a person with their flaws and help them if they want to change those things about them, or at least be accepting of them, I think that would be really important. There is something that does seem a little bit nice about an arranged marriage, because it's hard to love somebody, you know, like
Yeah.
when you love somebody, you put so much power in each other's hands. So like in an arranged situation where it's just kind of like a business deal, I could see a little bit of the appeal of that. It's just like, we don't really, you know, we're just doing this, like we'll make it work. You know,
Yeah.
like-
And another thing too about that too is I feel like it takes a lot of the pressure off, because then you have something else to blame. Like if something's falling through, it's not my feelings were wrong and I misinterpreted my whole life. It's, well, I didn't pick this, so
yeah, I guess.
yes, I'm just gonna have to
Yeah.
deal with it. You know, like.
Matt, you were in an arranged marriage for 45 years, were you not?
I was. I'm actually.
How old
I'm
are
actually
you?
like a
You look a lot younger than that.
as old as the dawn of time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Megan, did you know this going into this whole
You
situation?
know, I did not.
Oh.
Kind of feel ambushed.
Wow, we might have to start a Dr. Phil podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this Maury? Like,
talk
what's
this
happening?
out.
There weren't any red flags, and I just kept saying, age is just a number.
And his number is even real when you think about him. I mean,
Infinity lies between 1 and 1/2. So
Yeah.
please, it's like,
there was an instance recently. An elderly couple married for 62 years died together while holding hands. And it
Aww.
happened on the same day in
Okay.
April.
Appropriate.
The gentleman died first, and within an hour and a half, his wife followed.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, this happens occasionally. You see an article like this maybe pop up maybe like once a year, roughly, from what I can tell.
From your statistical analysis.
Right, from my anecdotal evidence of Joe's life, and I think it's always interesting because you see a lot of sharing of these types of articles, because I mean, how ideal would that be, though? You know, like if you're good, I mean, and we're all gonna go out eventually. You know, like if you're gonna go out, at least both go out at the same time. Like, there's such like a nice like present with the ribbon on top of it kind of feeling to that, like, and that's how the book closes. But I just wonder, like, I mean, but for most people, sadly enough, it's not going to happen like that, and I just think a lot about that and like what that commitment means when you decide that you want to be with someone else for a lifetime. I mean, you are essentially partially agreeing to the fact that one will leave before the other. And again, I'm not trying to be such a big downer. I feel really bad.
Oh,
Like,
you
I'm
don't
not
have
trying
to worry. We're gonna die together.
We'll be reading the new
We
story
planned
about you
this
guys.
already.
2089 or whatever. But yeah, I guess I just think, like, what do you guys think about that? Because that's a very daunting thing, because if the other person dies first, then you have to have that weight of it. And if you die first, then you know that the other person's always going to have that weight on them. You know, like, what do you think about that?
You don't know that after you die, you're dead already.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I don't. you know, you get my joke.
I've heard this in like wedding vows and stuff, where it's like, if you live to be 100, I hope I live like one less day than you, so I don't have to spend one day of my
yeah.
life without you. But then, like, wouldn't the least selfish thing to be to wish that the other person dies first, so that they don't have to go through that?
Mm-hmm.
You know? But it's
Right.
kind of weird, like, wishing death upon, like, your loved one.
Yeah.
But if that pain is really that great, then why would you wish that upon them?
Right.
You know?
Right. It's a weird catch-22.
Hmm. But people think it's romantic anyway to say that for some reason.
Right. what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, it is daunting. I'm not gonna have any, like, revelatory.
What are you gonna say at my funeral?
Remarks here, but like I don't know, like you said, like everyone goes eventually, and for them at an age like that, if like we were to get to an age like that, and in our marriage, and like death was looming overhead, it's like, okay, well, I mean, if one of us goes, I don't know if he'll be as close as them, but like. Obviously, like the other one wouldn't be so far behind. I don't think that would be so bad. It'd just be kind of like, well, I'm just gonna chill here and read a book until like.
I'm gonna chill here
until it comes.
I got a chapter further there.
I gotta read this fast. I want to know how it ends.
George R. R. Martin better finish that book.
Come on.
No, I mean, like that's fine. I think it'd be a lot harder if like. Obviously, one of us were to die younger, like maybe in like half a decade or something from now. Like that would be like a way more, because then it's like, well, now my life almost starts over. Like, what do I do? Like, where do I go from here?
If you wait a respectable amount of time, you can
What's the respectable amount of time?
That's a good point. It's not like
7
you'd
years.
be in your twilight years where it's kind of like, well, I might as well just live out the rest of my days. Like, if like something were to happen, like where you're 30s or 40s, like there's still a lot of potential.
I mean, if
for
I'm like
life,
80 in a nursing home and I meet someone else, I'm just gonna go for it.
that can happen. I mean,
and I feel like that'd be really cute too.
Yeah.
You're just like you're two little old people just like kind of holding hands, like.
And you do sometimes hear those stories too, like this couple didn't meet till they were like 75 and stuff like that. Or I mean, Hugh Hefner finds love every 3 years. It seems like.
true.
So I mean.
Yeah.
What do you think, Amber?
So I think it's interesting that you brought it up because both of my grandfathers died before my grandmothers did.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my grandmas is still alive. The other one has passed away. But the difference in how they handled the death of their respective husbands is very striking to me because my one grandmother, they both have relatively large families. Like, I think they both have 3 or 4 kids. So, then that's my parents and their brothers and sisters and then all the kids. And like on one side, there are even more kids down from there. So they're like big families. And my grandma on my dad's side was very, very religious. And my grandpa died in 2004 and she passed away a couple of years ago. But she was very, I don't want to say reserved, but she obviously mourned, but she, like the rest of her life seemed to be mostly happy from my perspective. And I think it has a lot to do with, she had very broad faith and she had a big family and there were always people in her house and like there are people who are not related to our family who I thought I was related to who also hang out in that house and they're just like people everywhere. So she lived out the rest of her life, I think, very content. I mean, obviously there's sadness there. Whereas my other grandmother was and has been, I mean, she's doing better, but she was so distraught. She got so depressed, and it was very external, and she was almost inconsolable for, like, years after my granddad died, and I think she's doing better now because she's gotten help. But I think part of the difference is that while, she also has, a bunch of kids and, like, kids of kids and grandchildren and stuff, she did babysitting, but I don't think, her house wasn't as much of a social center as my other grandmother's house is. So I think, and I don't think one of them loved their husband more than the other one did. Right. I think that they were, like, the families were very close and good. I think the big difference is just, apart from their personalities, is just how they interacted with their families. Because personalities aside, that's the biggest difference between the two households, is my one grandmother had like a social center of a house where like there are always people and there's just always stuff happening and there are always like cousins staying the night or like somebody doing a hog roast or something because it was in the middle of nowhere on a farm, whereas the other side, it wasn't that. So I feel like it's less a question of do I want you to die a minute before me, or as it is like, how do you interact with the people who are going to outlive you and who are taking care of you and who are coming back, after that's happened.
It's like, it's kind of just the great trade-off of caring about people in general, I think. Like, because regardless of what your relationship to that person is, whether it be a friendship or a relative, at some point there will be that parting, whether it's you or them, you know, whether that be a literal parting in terms of death, or whether it be a parting in terms of, you know, like moving away, or, you know, just a friendship that kind of fades over time and maybe you catch up every couple years and stuff. I think that's kind of how I look at it. Like, you know, I don't try to let that stop me from making connections with people, because I think that would be unhealthy to be consumed by that. Like, oh no, eventually this person will not be in my life anymore in some fashion. But like, I think it's good to remember that, and it helps me value the time with those people more, because I remember how transitory everything is, you know, like and it gives me more motivation to spend time with people and to do more things with people, I guess.
Live in the now, man.
Yeah.
It's very Notebook
I mean, this whole
story.
Oh, yeah.
conversation is moot because in 10 years we're gonna destroy death and become
Oh,
immortal.
that's true.
I
Yeah, we're gonna
forgot
live
about
forever.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
in like 2 minutes, I knew you before the podcast started. We planned that. I forgot.
Oh, but the other bad part is that World War III is around the corner.
Oh,
so
right.
how
But
do you
World War III is
balance-
going to cause us to create the cure for death.
Wait a second, is it like a superhero origin story where like the nuclear bomb goes off, but we all get like the radiation that turns us
That's
into
not.
immortal
That doesn't actually give
beings?
you superpowers. I think we're gonna need more science than just ripping stuff apart to do this.
Ah, okay.
I think we're probably all just gonna get downloaded to a big computer, like in Black Mirror.
Yeah.
That would be pretty dope.
But I feel like most people want to use science to destroy things. That's gonna be a problem to use science.
Hopefully
science
they
to
don't
do
nuke
good
the hard
things.
drive that we're all downloaded to.
Oh no! Did someone make a backup of Amber? Anybody?
Yeah, but only from like junior high. Do we really want it? Like,
Did someone unplug these servers?
it's like a popcorn
great.
machine.
Yeah.
Interns.
Oh, someone tripped over the cord. We just lost like 6 billion people.
Darn
I
it.
think I had
Again.
Amber on a thumb drive somewhere. Can someone look in the junk
Why am
drawer?
I the one? Why am I the one who's lost? How are you guys looking for this stuff if you're also on the hard drive?
Very good question.
It is
Sounds
time
terrifying.
for our sponsors.
Hooray!
The people who bring you this wonderful podcast about death and and losing all of your loved ones.
Hooray!
And today's sponsor is one that has never sponsored us before. They are called Loot Crate. You
Oh,
may-
I've heard of them.
Ah.
Yeah.
Do you know what Loot Crate is?
They send you a monthly box with quote unquote nerdy references.
Yes.
Like
Just references on it.
Yeah, scroll up. But I didn't. It's amazing how well you sum that up, because I didn't even send you any talking points about this or anything.
nope.
But yes, Loot Crate sends you a monthly box of varying prices depending on what you want to pay. There's all different kinds of plans depending on how long you want to do it too. Sometimes the longer you join, the more free goodies you get. But yeah, it's pretty reasonably priced, and they'll send you things related to the fandom that you love. Like right now, they got a bunch of Guardians of the Galaxy stuff going on because the new movie, which I do want to check out. They have Star Wars, The Goonies, video game Destiny. No Can You Not podcast boxes, but perhaps we can change that in the future. But yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff, like toys and notebooks and stickers and a lot of exclusive stuff that you can't get anywhere else. So it's a pretty cool idea if you want to check it out. So if you want to check it out, you can go to trylootcrate.com/ Can You Not? And let me double check
They
real
have
quick.
Firefly crates.
That's lovely.
They
Oh,
have
yes.
Harry Potter crates too.
So the reason you want to go to our
They have
URL
Sanrio crates.
is that you can save 10% on any new subscription if you go to that URL. I probably should have clarified that. And you have to enter the promo code BRIDGE10 when you order. So once again, that's trylootcrate.com/ CanYouNot to save 10% on any new subscription.
I want the Sanrio one. Just want Batsmaru things.
Use our promo code, Amber.
What's in the anime one?
Our final topic is Amber exploring loot crate options.
How does that relate to marriage?
If you get me a subscription, I will pledge my hand. Just kidding.
Perhaps,
If you get Cleveland Vegan to cater, maybe actually.
There you go.
Hey.
perhaps Amber is creating a marriage between her and this subscription.
I'm gonna, if they give me free stuff. What are they proposing with? It's really important.
A crate.
Yeah.
An empty crate?
Yeah, a loot crate.
Creative loot.
But those are contradicting things, I feel.
Yes,
I'm
a loot
confused.
crate to boot crate.
Groot crate? Hey.
Like most newlyweds, we were very quickly confronted by many people with the question,
Like an hour after we were married.
when are you having a puppy? No children.
But seriously, when are you? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, hopefully in like, oh wait, the puppy or the kid?
No.
Because the puppy soon.
That question would drive me up the wall if I had to hear that constantly.
Yeah, I mean it's super awkward. Not
It's a
gonna
little
lie.
intrusive too.
Doing
Yeah.
it.
Like, not anybody else's business.
Yeah, really.
Well, it's from like older relatives who think it's like their right to like elbow you, like I want grandkids.
Like we owe them that.
Yeah. Where was I going with this?
That's the topic, marriage.
Yeah,
and
I know.
children.
I wrote notes to like keep me focused, but it's making it harder to focus.
So you
So,
get confronted with it a lot.
Yes. I feel like marriage, I don't feel like I know marriage used to be like the means for procreation. Like that's what you do. You find your mate and you get a house and you have your 2.5 children and you bake pies and have barbecues and play football and you're just happy. But
I've never heard the formula for happiness before today. Now I know.
Should I write it down? You gonna take notes?
Yeah.
house plus pie plus
And was just gonna put it on a
2.5.
post-it note on her laptop.
But I'm gonna
Yes.
forget all the other parts except pie.
yeah.
Probably.
She's gonna be like 15 years from now. All I did was start a pie factory, and I'm not happy yet.
Yeah, but I feel like with our generation, that's definitely becoming less and less common.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have stats available, but I know not only is the marriage rate going down, but the amount of people our age who want to someday have children is much, much less than it used to be.
Right. At least in America, in particular,
Oh,
or the
yeah.
westernized countries
Yeah.
in general.
Right. I have talked to some people our age who are married, but have also decided that they're not going to have children, which is kind of the biggest anomaly of all for me because the idea of having kids outside of marriage is, not completely normalized, but it's becoming normal. But the idea of marriage without kids, I feel, is even more, like, it makes people think a little bit more, like, why would you want to do that? Like, of course, if you get married, you're going to have children.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a trend that's going up that people are still kind of grappling with. But there's lots of reasons that people choose to not have children despite being married.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what, Matt? Take over.
Like that sweet money. I mean, you got that dual income and that free time, and you're like, no longer will we be the people, or never, I guess, will we, or recently will we not be the people who say like we don't have the time or the money, like for a sitter or something, or because you need like diapers or food. Like we could partake. I mean, this is like a personal thing. I'm not saying this is obviously anyone who decides to not have kids, but like you can, I don't know, I feel like
You want to
having the
hoard all
time-
that money.
Well, not hoard it. No, I mean we could spend it to partake in our hobbies. Like you want to travel, and,
Right.
I do want to travel.
and like we'd have more time to spend with each other and our hobbies. And I don't know, kind of like, not to say that when you have kids you don't grow, but it's hard to like do that. It's hard.
You can't
to,
like go out to Taco Bell at 3 a.m. just
Or
because you want to. Like, you can't just,
Right.
like, up and leave. You'd have to, like, actually...
or like practice your skills, like I don't know, like like working if you're like working on cars, if you're learning a language, like maybe if you
I
wanted to
mean,
take
I'm
like classes
pretty sure
again,
you could
or
still
if you
do
wanted
that
to
if
do
you had
things
children,
like that, like
but...
it's
It'd be
more
hard.
difficult.
But it eats
it's
up all your
pricier,
time.
That's
yeah.
true.
Just like they eat up all your expenses.
Yeah.
Hey-o. I could be wrong, but true or false, I heard that Obama, Trudeau, and the other commies are now paying couples to not have children anymore because
that
they
a
want to
thing?
destroy America.
They pay you more if you like publicly kill a child. They give you just money.
my
Oh,
for it.
gosh.
dear.
It's a good thing we're
dear,
telling
dear.
everybody about
Yeah.
this.
Oof.
Oh, goodness.
Get the
gracious.
message
You heard
out.
it here, folks, on the Alex Jones conspiracy podcast.
Oh, dear.
Anyways, no, but like I think more generally speaking of couples or married couples who decide not to have kids, it's the choice to focus on your career. That's like a big thing.
Right,
I would argue that the driving point for the people I've met, it's more just like a lifestyle choice. Like, they want to be able to, go to fancy dinner parties whenever they want. Like, it's just, it completely changes your world when, I mean, like, we already have a cat, and, like, we have to think about, like, her well-being. And
Well, I was hearing some interesting things about like areas in San Francisco which are becoming increasingly more baby friendly, that they're trying to find ways for couples to work around that kind of thing, like having restaurants where a couple can have like a fine dining experience, but there's also like a playroom in the back where certified people watch your kids while you have like a lovely fancy dinner together.
Must
and,
be
like,
nice to have that much money.
Right.
Yeah,
So like maybe things like that might, because they're, and even like bars and stuff like that will do events where you can drink and then your kids can do things like over here, which sounds kind of like a nightmare. But I can also see how like maybe couples who don't want to give up certain parts of their lifestyle might appreciate those kind of accommodations.
I feel like I would trust myself, like, not hammered or anything, but drunk near a child, but I don't think I would trust a bar full of people.
Right.
Like, even if their kids are there, no.
Yeah.
No, mm-mm.
How do you feel about all of this, Amber?
Well, pregnancy freaks me out,
Mhm.
like, a lot, so I don't have any interest in being pregnant, and I don't know. It's, I think it makes sense that people don't want to have kids, especially now when Trump's about to end everything. So, like,
Yeah.
people don't want to bring kids into the apocalypse usually. But I feel like a thing that I've considered before is the idea of, like, you mentioned this briefly, is like being single and having kids. Because I've always thought that adoption would be a really great option if I ever decided that I actually like
adoption
wanted.
option.
Yeah, the adoption option. There you go. Just because there's already kids everywhere, and I don't want to be pregnant, and if I want a kid, it's like I still don't want to be
Yeah.
pregnant. I don't know.
And
So
you're helping somebody who actually needs help.
yeah, so something that I was actually just something that I've thought about because of that train of thought is just like I wonder how difficult it is for somebody who is single to adopt a child, because like I haven't actually looked into it because I don't want a kid right now at all. But I just like, because I feel like that would be something that could be really, really hard to jump through too, because I feel like with the law side of marriage, like the stuff that comes, like the political, not political, but the way the rules change when you get married with those kinds of things, and how you have to have a certain amount of income, you have to prove that you can take care of the child, all these like things, you know what I mean?
it varies by state. I have looked into this
Ah.
just out of curiosity. Something I think about a lot. It flip-flops a lot just based on, like, how I feel at the moment and my goals, and, like, also the state of the world is, like, leaving me terrified right now. But
Whether or not there's a stinky child in the cart in front of you when you're checking out on your groceries.
yes.
If you can smell the diaper, you're like, nah.
I've explored all avenues just because I like to read about these things.
I would like to
But-
adopt a kid just because I
Yeah.
want to skip the baby part if I was to have children. That sounds like a really convenient
There's
thing.
a lot of older kids out there.
Right.
But in Ohio, there's no limit on how long you have to be married to a person before you can adopt together, and single people can adopt as well.
Fancy.
Yes.
I'm looking at something from the Child Welfare Information Gateway. called Adopting as a Single Parent. And it says, many single people are choosing to adopt, reflecting national trends towards greater acceptance of non-traditional families. Nationally, approximately 1/4 of children and youth, or about 22 million, are growing up in single-parent households. In 2011, nearly 1/3 of adoptions from foster care were completed by unmarried people.
That's really interesting.
Despite these statistics, many single people report that they are more likely than couples to experience challenges in completing an adoption. Biases that persist against single-parent adoption in some circles reflect some of the disadvantages, including greater financial pressures and the lack of a second parent to share responsibilities. Nevertheless, single adoptive parents are quick to point out that their families also possess unique advantages. For example, some children who have experienced trauma or attachment difficulties may experience a higher degree of consistency and emotional safety with a single parent than dual parents. I think that's kind of interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't really. I think kids are gross. Except for my nephews. My nephews are great, and that's like my whole opinion about kids. I mostly don't like them. So, I'm glad we're ending with that.
yeah. I don't know if I ever want to have kids either, but it's definitely worth.
I have like lots of other stuff I'm doing right now. Like I'm like really busy with other things.
Yeah, it's not on my radar at all.
It's not on my list right now.
Not at all. But as for you two, when are you two thinking about having kids?
Well, let me tell you, after watching The Handmaid's Tale, probably not.
I keep seeing people talking about that.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
that on
know.
Hulu?
It's on Hulu, yeah.
I don't have Hulu. I have Netflix.
Aw, Amber.
I'm ruining
Today's
everything.
episode is brought to you by Hulu, the thing that Amber doesn't have. No, I'm just kidding. Then again, we've made fun of a lot of companies that I would probably
Freaking
not pursue
Dunkin'
as sponsors.
Donuts.
Yeah, this is
I
probably
hate
the
Dunkin'
fifth
Donuts.
time you chewed out Dunkin' Donuts
I hate
irrationally.
Dunkin' Donuts so much.
Eventually, they're going to want to sponsor.
Yeah, there's.
Oh,
And
man.
then
And
you'll
you'll
like,
get paid to yell about that.
you're gonna be like, I
I like
fucking
money.
hate how much I
You're like,
love
I love Dunkin'
Dunkin'
Donuts.
I will never. I do not love Dunkin' Donuts.
That's where we draw the line. It's
And
the one
they're
sponsor that you will.
$3.99. I don't know how much coffee costs.
maybe Matt and Megan will start a podcast about Dunkin' Donuts, and they'll get Dunkin' Donuts to
Oh my
sponsor,
gosh.
and they'll just be rolling.
If
in
Dunkin'
that dough.
Donuts gets
Exclusive.
vegan donuts, I'll forgive them
It's gonna be
for
called
their
Have you
terrible
heard of
coffee.
the
Can
vegan
You
donut
Tot?
company?
Oh,
And it's gonna be
I
about
will
kids.
show you.
you'll just be
Don't you wear it.
you'll just be rolling in that dough.
Yeah.
Nuts.
No.
You're rolling in nuts?
Oh,
You're rolling in
donuts.
nuts?
Donuts.
You're rolling in
No,
nut-
there was like a pun. I
nuts?
made something about
Can
rolling in the
you?
dough.
Nuts?
Can you
Rolling in
Nuts?
the donuts
Nuts.
is like a sentence where I put
Nuts?
a pun in there. It was donuts.
nuts.
Oh.
Can you pot, but underneath like when someone like they proofread your page and they put like the thing it goes
Uh-huh.
like, can you make me a pot? And then at the
And
end
it's all
before
about
the
weed.
question, no, it says
This is
of coffee.
very
Insert that in there,
descriptive.
coffee,
I have
and then question
no
mark.
idea
All
what's
right.
happening. I thought you were gonna say, "Can you nut like donut?" But you didn't. I don't know what you just said.
It's
Although I have a
Also-
feeling Can You Nut might not be an appropriate podcast either. If you would like to check out more very appropriate episodes on our show, you can go to SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/CYN podcast. We are on iTunes. If you give us a rating, that's really important to us. That really helps us out.
I recently gave us a rating. I think.
You did?
I think
Did
so.
you give us the 1 star?
I guess I'm on this.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good.
I think I did.
We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and a lot of your favorite podcasting apps. Matt, what do you follow us on?
I use Pocket Casts on Android. The app does cost either $99 or $1.99, but it's well worth it, and you can listen to Can You Not. But I'm sure there are other free podcast apps on the Android or iOS market.
I use a free one on my Android called Podbean that we're on. So, there's all these options for you. You really don't have any excuses is what we're trying to get across here. I don't want your belly aching. I don't want your crying, your tears. We also now own CanYouNotPodcast.com. That's pretty cool.
Ooh.
So, there's a hub if you want to find out more of those things. And if you have any feedback, ideas, suggestions, comments, complaints, vegan recipes,
Hey.
you can email us at canyouNotPodcast@gmail.com. At the end of the show, I don't know how familiar with both of you are, but we talk about one thing that we learned today from today's episode. What did you learn today, Amber?
I learned that I need to set up an app similar to Tinder, but instead of swiping left or right, it randomly arranges you with somebody. So that way, if you long for an arranged relationship, I got you. Like,
Will it be called Can You Nut?
it's the challenge at the end. You have to say whether it worked or not.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I
Hit me. I haven't picked one yet.
What I learned today is that if I marry somebody, I want to die within 1 minute of them.
Before or after?
1 minute during.
People are obsessed with dying. I just don't want to die. Like, screw everybody
Or
else.
I'll just live
like.
forever on a thumb drive in James Comey's computer.
Oh.
Even though he's been fired, unfortunately, because democracy's dying. What did you two learn today?
Oh, I learned I was much sadder than I thought.
I'm so sorry.
No.
I feel like I had already chosen this topic before I was gonna have you guys on, so it would have just been our friend Brian talking about this stuff. But then it felt so much more real talking about it with a married couple. So I apologize.
No. Yeah.
I learned that we have many of the same thoughts because I've thought of these thoughts before. In fact, I was just thinking them this morning.
Oh
Actually,
my God.
maybe I'm psychic.
Probably.
You sunk them thoughts?
Yeah, I did. I did. I thought about the whole like death thing. I thought about that.
I wake up
Yeah,
every morning.
yeah,
thinking
I
about
do.
death. That's the first thing I do is I brush my teeth.
I think thoughts sometimes too.
When I open my little peepers,
You do
and
what?
all I see is the spectrum of death in front of me.
Every time.
That's my morning routine.
Every time I meet my own gaze in the bedroom mirror, I stare there for 15 seconds.
Anyway, we also usually conclude each episode by saying, "Can you not?"
Okay.
At the same time?
No.
Oh.
Wait, let's do it all at the
No,
same time.
oh,
That
no.
sounds like fun.
Like a marriage.
3, 2, 1.
Can you not?